Nobody ever really thought, like looked at me and thought, okay, this guy's a hustler, he's going to be an entrepreneur, he's destined to be a CEO of a company. The business just poof, disappeared overnight with COVID. I was battling landlords, I was getting threatened by being told they're going to take me to court, and I always felt like I was letting my family down by being average or mediocre and kind of wafting through life. And then I guess one day something in me just kind of snapped. So it was April 2018. I remember it. And I was working at the embassy and things were going okay. My life wasn't too bad. I had a decent job and, you know, I was just I'd say an average Joe. Didn't really go to a particularly good uni. Didn't really have a very good, strong CV in terms of work experience. Had an okay job, but I felt like I was kind of just drifting through life. I didn't really have a purpose or a higher objective or like any kind of ambition. And it was just, you know, monotonous day in and day out. I was just like a regular guy living for the weekend, basically. I'd go in, do my work, kind of half-assed, not really bothered because I didn't enjoy what I was doing. So I knew of people that were like entrepreneurs and, you know, they started the business and they were starting to do well and picking things up. But I never really thought it was for me. Nobody ever really thought, like looked at me and thought, okay, this guy's a hustler, he's going to be an entrepreneur, he's destined to be a CEO of a company, he's got really great sales skills, especially sales. If you asked me back then, I'd say my weakest skill and the thing that I was the worst at was sales. And I didn't see myself as this like entrepreneurial type of person. And then I guess one day something in me just kind of snapped. I was like, I kind of had enough. I was like, I need to change something. I don't know what that something was, but I need to change something. So I started changing the people I hung around with. I basically took on a mentor, somebody that had already started doing business and was doing well and who had a very positive outlook and mindset. I thought, okay, this is a good person to follow and to be guided by. They're going to be a positive role model and influence on my life. And I basically quit my job, left the embassy and started a business doing property management. I started off with a couple of referrals from friends and family, managing them ourselves. I was running around changing bed sheets and doing all sorts and fixing stuff, and things were going well until for about a year and a bit. And then this thing that again nobody'd ever heard of before called COVID came in, and I remember I was like, COVID, what? COVID-19, yeah, it's just a Chinese fad. It's not really going to affect us. The next thing I know, the border's shut down. We're all in lockdown. Airbnb's closed. I've taken on some rent-to-rent properties, which what you do is you guarantee rent to the landlord. You agree a price and you say to him or her that you're going to manage the property and you're going to pocket the difference and put it on Airbnb basically. But you're liable for the rent. So COVID hit, completely took the legs out from under us, decimated everything that we'd built. We burnt through all of our cash and the business just poof, disappeared overnight with COVID. And there were hard times. I was battling landlords. I was getting threatened by being told they're going to take me to court. I remember I had a car. I would go look on Facebook Marketplace, find items that were being given away for free. I'll then message them, drive, pick up the item and go sell it for 20 quid here, 30 quid there. That's how hard times got. I was just hustling. Me and my mentor, my business partner. And I remember the people around me, my family, my friends were like, maybe enough's enough now. You gave it a good run. You tried. Entrepreneurship is not really your thing. Maybe start applying, put your CV out there, maybe try and get onto it with a company and get furloughed or something. And I remember I had a call with my business partner at the time. And like, this is during the thick of it. We've got one landlord telling us they're going to make us go bankrupt, another one threatening us to go court. We've got not zero, we've got minus something in the bank. We're living off credit cards and selling items on Facebook Marketplace. And we had a call and he asked me, he's like, so how are you feeling about everything? Like the world's kind of crumbling around us. And honestly, I genuinely believed at the time, I was like, we'll be all right. You know, it's fine, things are tough now, but it's fine, it'll be fine. We'll make it out. So that's when I realized that it wasn't the business. You know, I'd spent all this time building this business. That's the value. Putting all my time, my life, my soul, my blood, sweat and tears into the business, thinking that was what the end goal and the kind of the real value of the asset was. It was the business. And then here I was, business is gone, it's crumbled, turned into dust. And I'm just standing there talking on the phone with my friend. And that's when I realized that it was the mindset, it was the experience that I'd gotten from the business and from throwing myself in the trenches and from being there and waking up at X hours and from going at 2 o'clock in the morning and unlocking a door for a guy and doing sales, which I thought I could never do. It was like this shift in mindset that I'd gotten is what was the real valuable thing, because now no matter what, I know I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be able to start another business. I'll survive. I don't need a safety net under me. And that's what I think a lot of people want to have with jobs and employment is a safety net. under them. You know, it's like, okay, if something goes wrong, there's this company that's going to protect me and feed me and give me money. And whereas for us, I was a safety net. You know, I was the bottom line. That was the real value. And then going forwards, when COVID ended and things picked back up, I learned how to do things better. So during COVID, when things were shut down, we actually segued and started a separate business to do with recruitment and kind of helping people find jobs, which was a learning experience and a whole world in itself, that we managed to build and scale this business that was then basically covering our baseline. We rebuilt ourselves. That's what I mean. It was the mindset that just helped us. We're like, okay, you know, we can't do Airbnb, we can't do short lets. What else can we do? We're here, we're hustling, as they say. We want to do well. So we started this recruitment business, training and hiring people and placing them. And I think that was one of the most valuable experiences, because it taught me how a business actually works and how to run a business, a successful business, how to grow it, how to deal with staff, how to deal with payroll, how to deal with getting clients, Google ads. All these valuable skills were now in our repertoire. So now we're getting to the stage where COVID's coming to an end, things are picking back up, Airbnb's opening back up, the short let industry, and I come into it, Daniel 2.0, the new and improved. And I even look back at my old business and the way that we were doing things, and I realized that we could smash it, go twice as hard in a third of the time. And that's what we did. We picked back up, we've got all this experience now. We built another successful company during the process when COVID, when everybody else's businesses were failing and going bankrupt and people were running for the hills. We managed to not only survive, but actually thrive. We actually built a successful business off the back of that. And then looking back at my old business and the way I was doing things, I realized where the inefficiencies were and that how we could be better, faster, and with bringing on good quality people. So that was one of the main things, bringing in A players, people that were going to make a difference, or running like successful PPC, Google ads campaigns to bring in clients and improve revenue. And I was no longer shoveling shit running around at 2 o'clock in the morning. I had a team, I had staff, I had people around me. We were building this entity now that's growing and is continuing to grow and will hopefully continue to grow. Talking from a kind of a family or emotional perspective, growing up, I was the oldest of my family. So I had all this, I guess, responsibility on my shoulders or expectation. And I always felt like I was letting my family down by being average or mediocre and kind of wafting through life in my early mid-20s. I never really, I didn't feel like I was making them proud. It was to a point where I was a bit of a man-child. At 27, 28, I was still a bit of a man-child. Like if I had to take a decision, I'd call my dad and be like, what do you think? Should I make this? You know, that decision-making muscle was very weak. So that was one thing that kind of I trained, or I helped train during this process, was taking decisions and being my own man. So when I quit my job at the embassy, I had a lot of resistance from family, from parents. They were like, what are you thinking? You've got a good job, stable income. What are you going to do? How are you going to make ends meet? And I guess my dad believed in me. My dad's a very rational guy. Explained to him the logic and the reasoning. He knew who my business partner or mentor was, and he supported my decision. So that was like an inspiration for me as well, that I've got the belief now finally that my dad is trusting me to do this. And then it got to a point where, in this forging of this mindset and during these formative years where it was hard and things went bad and things got good, there was a shift from me going to my dad and being like, what do you think, to him coming to me and being like, what do you think? I want to do this. And he was coming in getting my opinion and advice on things. And that moment when it happened, I remember it was just after COVID. I think he was thinking about buying a property or investing, and he came to me and he was asking me for my advice on what I thought we should do, and it was to do with family stuff as well. So that was a very proud moment for me. My dad he had full confidence in me, and I felt like that was never the case because I was a bit of a man-child. So that was nice. Listen, I didn't have the best education going for me. I didn't go to a Russell Group uni. People think that you have to go to a really sick uni and you have to have worked in a big company, McKinsey, Deloitte, whatever, Big Four. I didn't have any of that. I went to a shit uni, which I then got kicked out of, and I had to go to an even shitter uni. I think in fact it was at that point the shittest uni in the country. I was literally scraping the bottom of the barrel. I worked in retail for a while, then became a manager there. I then worked in an embassy. So I didn't have any anything particularly going for me from that sense, from an experience or education perspective. But what I did have was I found a lane, I found a mentor, somebody who I could believe in and trust in their leadership, and I executed. I just stayed with it. I took a decision and I kept to that decision, even when things got hard. And I think that's the real value. That's the one thing I had going for me, was dedication, basically. I was like, I'm in this. I don't really have another choice. I don't want to go back to my mediocre life and mediocre job. So the only way is forward. So that was what pushed me. And I just stuck with it every day. So now as things have started to pick up and things are going well and business is booming and we're going from strength to strength, people have started asking me, they're like, so why don't you take this experience and what you've learned and make a course out of it? Pass on that knowledge to somebody else so they can do it. And honestly, the first few times I heard, I cracked up laughing, because the only way to actually do this is to actually do it. If somebody went back into April 2018 and gave Daniel the exact blueprint of what I did step by step, I would not have been able to do it. I would have failed miserably. The only way that I have been able to get to where I am now and get to this stage where I've got this business and things are going well is by turning up and being there in the trenches day in and day out and picking a mentor, somebody that you can believe in, and following their guidance, their leadership. So that's why you're never going to see a course from me. If I am going to do it or think about offering this and passing on knowledge and helping somebody else out to get to where I've gotten, the only way that I'd do it is I'd partner with them. That way, both of us have skin in the game. We're both investing together. We're both growing together. It's a mentor-mentee kind of relationship, and I can guide them, and they're in the trenches, and we're in there together. We both have something at stake, because that's what works. As somebody who's built an Airbnb management company, that's what I found has worked. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to try and sell somebody a course.